G'day. This is Victor Kilo 4 Golf Romeo Bravo. The name this way is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. The QTH here is Fairyland. Yes, Fairyland is a real place. It's up here in Queensland. Anyway, with that lot there, would you like to actually ever thought of wondering what amateur radio is? I am an amateur radio operator. As you can tell, my face is not designed for being in front of a camera. It's usually in front of a microphone. But anyway, with that lot there, we've got the humidity out of the way. We are a friendly bunch. We do help everybody quite a bit. We did inform people that Cyclone Tracy happened up in Darwin. Majority of the emergency, national emergencies which happened in Australia, the amateur radio has a part in it. But that's another side of it as well. Anyway, if you want looking at becoming an amateur radio operator, there is 3 levels. The first level is a foundation level. That's a ground roots one. You know, we've all got to sit exams. Depending on which level you want, is how difficult the exam is. We've got a theory exam and we've got a regulation exam. We've got to know exactly whereabouts and what power and all the other stuff we're allowed on the bands to do. As you see, I use my hands quite a bit, and I'll try and keep them down. But anyway, with that lot there, we do have some regulations, and which is classed as an LCD, a license condition document. We have, as I said, we do have 3 levels. First one is a foundation level. Foundation level is a stepping stone to it all. It's very easy. The theory course, well, it is reasonably easy. It's a weekend course. You study for a little bit, and in one weekend you'll sit down. You'll get the test. If you pass, after you sent the paperwork and all that in. And if you get a pass, you just pay a nominal fee at the present time, and you can be on air. The foundation license does allow you to use majority of our bands, which we have. We have quite a few. We go from, in Australia here, we go from 1.6 meg, which is the 160 meter band. And we go all the way up into the microwave, right up to 1 millimeter in bandwidth, which is up in, as I said, in the microwave area. Unfortunately, foundationers can't get up that high. They got a little bit of HF, they got a little bit of VHF, and they got a little bit of UHF. It's not like the CB radios. We don't run channels. Oh, we do in some places, but that's very rarely. Majority of our time we run on frequencies. Anyway, with that lot there, the foundation license is allowed only 10 watts of power at the present time. They might increase it one day. Who knows? Then we've got the standard license. Standard license gives you a bit more power. I think that's 100 watts offhand. It allows you to utilise a bit more HF, or actually, yeah, virtually all of the HF. I think there's only one band they can't use in the HF side of it. I could be wrong on the standards. But anyway, they also get, I think they get a little taste on 6 meters, which is in the VHF band. They've got all of 2 meters, and they've got all of 70. As I said, they're allowed 100 watts, and they can run digital or analog. Actually, all license holders, doesn't matter what class you are. If you're a foundationer, or your or standard. You can run digital as well. As I said, but you're minimised on what band, how much of the band you could use. Like myself, I am what you class as advanced level. I am open slather. I could use any frequency on our amateur listings. I am allowed to utilise up to, at the present time, 400 watts. That's PEP, peak envelope power. And all the measurements I've been giving you in the power, it's peak envelope power. 10 watts PEP for the foundationers. 100 watts PEP for the standards. 400 watts at present for the advanced. We do have another level there where the advanced can apply for a special license. It's a high-powered license. I'm not going to comment too much on it because I'm not fully aware of it at the present time. But that one there is up to 1,000 watts. That's PEP, peak envelope power. Now, we've got a yearly license we've got to pay for at the present time. They're looking at making it a year, a life license. So that's what they're looking at doing doing in the close future. But at the present time, we've got to pay a yearly license. But as I said, depending on which level you want, we're all got to pay the same amount of license fee. As I said, myself this way, I've been involved with radio since 1968. I started off in a recording studio. Then a bit more of my background. I was a technical assistant at a radio station down in Victoria, down the bottom end of Australia. I'm up here in Queensland. I'm in the warm spot, as you can tell, with the way I'm dressed, or the way the top half of me is dressed. Anyway, I'm getting rambling on a bit. But okay, we'll run through some modes. We have what we class as slow scan television. Now, have you been to you can remember, well, you probably remember a slideshow where you put a whole heap of photos in, and you'll see a photo come through, then a few minutes, then another photo, and then another photo. Well, we can send the photos via our radios. It takes, depending on what mode of slow scan television we are using, that's what SSTV stands for. Depending on what slow scan program you're running, you could go from 30 seconds for each photo to go through. That's pretty grainy and very, kind of thing. Or you could go up to 3 minutes per photo, one photo. But that's high definition photo, And as I said, depends on which way you go. I do slow scan television. Every so often we do slow scan TV up to the International Space Station. That's another thing we could do. We could talk to, there's 25 different satellites up there. We've got the choice of utilising FM. Some of them are digi repeaters. Some of them are just a standard repeater. Depending on what you're doing. And if you're lucky, and be one of the lucky ones like I have, I've had the opportunity 3 times so far in all my years of being involved with the amateur radio. It is only a hobby. This is only a hobby. You can make it as cheap as you want or as expensive as you want. You could, this is my handheld. I can't move the camera at the moment. It's sitting on top of the radio, or one of my radios. the radio I've got, which I'm sitting on top of, or what the camera's sitting on top of, is an ICOM 9100. It's 10 years old. No, it's 12 years old. The radio is. When I brought it, it was $6,000. See, as I said, that radio which I just showed you, that was an $800 handheld. But don't get frightened off because of the prices I'm telling you. You know, it's only, as I said, you can make it as cheap as you want to, or as expensive. Anyway, I'm rambling on again. Now, if you want to talk to the International Space Station, you could actually talk to an astronaut. We have, every now and then they do come on and actually put a call out. And if you're lucky enough to be listening to their frequencies, which we're allowed to operate on, you could talk to the astronauts. Mind you, it's only for a short time. They travel around the Earth that fast that you only get 10 minutes. Now, out of that 10 minutes, you might only get to get your call sign up there, have your call sign and your name, and if it's lucky enough that they've heard you, they'll reply back to you. They'll give you a signal strength of what signal report, and you could give them a signal report back. Then you get you might have the opportunity, if it's not busy, but they might actually have a couple of words with you. You know, what have you been up to today? You know, kind of thing. And they'll explain a bit about what they're doing. And, you've already told them where you live. You've already given your call sign. And, you're giving them a signal report. They'll send you what comes back is a QSL card. A QSL card is a acknowledgement that you have talked to them. Now, I've got a couple up in my cupboard somewhere. As I said, I've had the opportunity 3 times to talk to them. It's, out of the years I've been talking on the radio and trying to get up there, talking to the International Space Station is reasonably hard. But bloody exciting, excuse the way I put it. Well, anyway, as I said, I'm advanced class. I'm open slatter. I could do what I want. As I said, I come up in the ages where we had Morse Code. Well, we don't have Morse Code anymore. Well, we do, but it's not mandatory to actually have it nowadays. Where when I went for my license, it was mandatory to do a 10-word per minute Morse Code. Now, honestly, and this has been honest, I haven't touched a Morse key since I got my license. It was mandatory for me to utilise the Morse key and own one and know how to use one to talk to people. But since I got my licence, I prefer to actually talk to people. I talk to you, you talk to me. We get all the information we want. We have different nets on the place. A net is a place where we all. Hang on, I'll bring one up. You'll hear something in a second.
Jumped out and went for a bit of a swim with him in the shallows, just as the tide was turning to go back out. So it was beautifully clear and very warm and lovely in. So he even enjoyed it, I think. Anyway, I'll try to get back in a little more often now that we're back into school again. But I'm still waiting for my glasses to come.
Okay, with that lot there, he's a school teacher. We come in all different kind of things. We have the police who are amateurs. We have, I know a couple of people who have been down to Antarctica. Cold blooming place down there. And they're down there for 6 months. And if you're lucky enough, you could actually talk to them while they're down there. So the world's your limit on here. It is. We've got that many different modes. We've got that much to do. You can never get bored with amateur radio. It's a beautiful hobby. As I said, you can make it as expensive as you want, or as cheap as you want. I'm about middle to the road. Mind you, if I could turn my turn the phone around, or the camera around, I mean, don't worry, my dog is probably, you probably noticed him pop up. But I've got 5 radios on my bench here. You're sitting on one. But as I said, you can make it as cheap as you like. You can just run off a handheld. I know one bloke down in Toowoomba. He rides around on his push bike. He talks away on his handheld radio, gets into places, no worries. Yeah, so we're all good. But anyway, I'm to introduce yourself a bit better, and I've been rambling on now for just on 16 minutes. Oh, just over 16 minutes now. I'm the president also of the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. Okay, Bunya Mountains is in Queensland. The actual repeaters, which I utilise, are 76.6 kilometres away from me. And I am also the repeater coordinator for the club. I'm also a lifetime member of, or not a lifetime member, but I'm a founding member of MERGE, the Maryborough Electronics Radio Group. Now, not the one down in Victoria, the one up here in Queensland. You know, I'm one of the founding members there. Now, the funny thing about that lot is I used to live up in Maryborough before I moved out down here to FAIRYLAND. Now, we're always on UHFCB, and they were having a bits and pieces and doing bits. We're talking there, and of course I was also an amateur at the time, and I used to teach the guys on CB what to do, you know, and how to do things, and we were all one big family. But there's no club in Maryborough, well, not at the time anyway. There used to be, but there wasn't one at the time. So I invited everybody for a barbecue. Now, you'll get a laugh out of this one. I invited everybody to a barbecue. Now, took them down to a place where I know there used to be barbecues. Now, I did say used to be. And then turned up there, no barbecues. So we had to quickly dart off and go to another place so we have a barbecue. Anyway, with that lot there, we got talking between us all, and we started talking about a club. So we got MERGE going. MERGE stands for Maryborough Electronics Radio Group. Electronics comes before the radios because electronics was invented before radios. Didn't matter which way, if you're into valves, the electronic side of it was invented before the radio came along. So, and we were open. We were looking at if you're a computer freak, or a CB freak, or one of us kind of crazy guys who are amateurs. You know, we decided all to get a club going. Anyway, so we did. Now, I've rambled on for another 2 minutes over MERGE, but MERGE is still going. I also used to do the WIA National News when I was up in Maryborough. I used to put it on the UHFCB. What was good enough for the amateurs was good enough for the CBs. That's what I was looking at and thinking of. There's no holds barred with me. Why can't the CBs have the same privileges, or not the same privileges, but get to know what the actual amateurs do? We're a quiet little mob. The Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club, we're a quiet mob. You'll see us come up on the local community station, community billboards every now and then around the local area, which this video will go on to. Anyway, with that lot there, we're part of the, we're part of the Western Downs disaster group. We're involved with the disaster. Just in case of a disaster, because with my background of what I've been into years ago, over the last few years, quite a few years now, I've been to just about every disaster you could think of. Natural one, that is. Cyclone Larry. And the summer bushfires down in Victoria. Ash Wednesday down in Victoria. As I, Black Saturday. That was another one I was down at. There was a few there which I was in Brisbane, down in there when they got flooded out back in the early 2000s. I was up in so any kind of natural disaster, there was someone there, and I used to take my radios up with me. I was not involved with the any amateur stations up there at the time. I was involved with other things, but I was an amateur, and I did take my radios up with me, and I did talk to people. I was actually down in Sydney back in 1998, 99, 98, I think it was. Can't remember nowadays, but anyway, that's when the brown stuff hit that rotating device. And Sydney got clobbered with hailstones, and Bondi didn't look like much except, and Randwick didn't look like much except a whole heap of them yellow and green tarps and all the other bits on top of houses. I was down there at that time. But in those days too, I also had the amateur radio. But in those cases too, we also had problems with mobile phone towers. Couldn't handle traffic. And especially up at Cyclone Larry, there was trying to get through even our emergency frequencies, our emergency stuff up there couldn't get through. It's just one of those things. But anyway, one day, at the moment there, we're looking at having a recruitment at the present time. This is the main reason why I'm doing this video. We're doing and of course I ramble on a bit. We're having a recruitment time at Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. And for the locals there, who know the area, we'll be at the MYCNC club there on the 11th of February 2023, opposite Freedom and opposite the school. You can't miss it then if you know where Freedom in Dalby is. That's the service station, and the school is directly opposite as well. We'll be there on the Saturday morning. We'll be starting to gather around about 9 o'clock. We've got a meeting that day, so you're all welcome to come. But anyway, with this lot here, I see I'm now gone 24 minutes. Shivers, and that's one thing, I don't have to worry about when I'm talking on the radio. Time's nothing. But when you're doing a video, time is everything. So, if the guys in Dalby or Jandowie or Chinchilla, could we cover all those areas? We also cover Kingaroy and a few other areas. Feel free and pop in. Anyway, with that lot there, I'll bid you all 7-3. I hope I've given you a bit of an insight on what we do with amateur radio. we would like to see anyone who is involved with computers, because we use a computer quite often on all our stuff. If you're interested in radios, good. We'd like to see you. I hope for the best one day you might join one of our clubs. But if you're not in our area, feel free to look up an amateur radio club and then ask if you could join. They'll they'll accept you with open arms, and you never know. In the future, you may actually get a license. You might study. If you're going up, like as I said, where I am, I'm an advanced class. You're looking at least good 6, probably 8 months of study. That's hitting the books to know what the rules and regulations are, because the higher you go up, the more you've got to learn. Foundation license, as I said, that's the stepping stone. It's very easy. It's a weekend course. If you so you could easily hop on. Anyway, with that one there, as I said, I'm still rambling on. So until another time, you take care of yourself, and I hope I can hear you on the airwaves one day. This is Victor Kilo 4, Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Fairyland. Yes, and as I said, Fairyland is a real place. We are in the Western Downs in Queensland. Until we catch you in the near future again, 7-3, which means goodbye, and we'll catch us all later. Bye.